So for this episode, I have Jen Green, the Senior Manager for U.S. Affiliate Operations. I was introduced to Jen through a mutual friend, Andrew Charlesworth, who also works for CrossFit HQ. He's a CrossFit seminar instructor, colleague of mine, gym owner. He's been on the show before. Jen and I get connected after the podcast episode where I had Frank come on. Frank is leading that CrossFit Affiliate Owners Collective movement where they're attempting to buy back CrossFit from the private equity group because they don't like the way it's being ran. And you know, there's a whole thing. Go check out that podcast episode. But anyway, Jen and I get together, and what I really enjoyed about her is I asked her before the podcast, is there anything I can ask you? I'm not trying to get you fired at work. She goes, no, fuck it. Yeah, ask me whatever. And she's very candid and very upfront that a lot of affiliates who feel they should be getting more for their affiliation, or affiliates who are complaining about things that are really traced back to their shitty business, that's on them. And that CrossFit's here to support and will continue to steadily support, but we are not here to fix your shit business. So I really did enjoy, and that's me summarizing in my own words what she said. But you guys can listen to how kind of she phrases it. But I thought she was very candid, very open, no bullshit, really enjoyed it. And I have to apologize. I fucked up the audio towards the end. You're going to notice a quick little technical glitch towards the end, and then she's got a shitty echo the last couple minutes of the podcast. That's your boy's fault. Fucking around with some new streaming software, and I'm a moron. So my bad. Enjoy this conversation with Jen Green. What is up, guys? It is Stu, and it is another episode of the What the Fuck Gym Talk podcast. And I'm honored. I've got Jen Green on here, the Senior Manager of the U.S. Affiliate Operations. So you're not old. What does senior mean? Does that mean that there's someone who has the title of just regular manager and they're like less than you in the hierarchy?
No, I think it was just like, hey, let's give her a cool title, you know. So
Yeah.
Definitely.
Jen, do me a favor. Give everyone kind of the 2-minute summary of kind of how you found yourself into the fitness industry and into this role with CrossFit. Is it CrossFit HQ? What's it called now?
Yes, you can call it CrossFit HQ. It's CrossFit Inc., I think, is the official. But yeah, I just say CrossFit. Cool. Yep.
Awesome.
I played sports in high school and found CrossFit.
What'd you play?
I did track and field and basketball.
What was your event in track and field?
Long jump, triple jump, and the 400-meter relay.
Oh, fuck. You're explosive as hell. How old are you?
Some days. I'm 42.
42? You look fucking great. Okay. No, I'm just always interested when someone tells me, especially in track and field, because it breaks you down. And there's two distinct categories in that world, in that sport.
Yep.
And very cool. Okay. Continue. Yeah. Sorry.
Yep. No, you're good. And so out of high school, got married, gained a lot of weight, found CrossFit 17 years ago, and was just like, I don't know what this is, but let's just do this. And so continued with that. I now own the affiliate that I started at, and during COVID was nominated by my community to support the affiliates as a district rep with HQ to just kind of listen to affiliates through COVID. And from there, just continue to evolve the passion I had for not only helping those in my community, but helping affiliate owners, and stepped into the regional role. And then last June stepped into the U.S. role. Awesome.
Now, 17 years. So you and me found CrossFit, I was like 2006-ish timeline, 2005, 2006. So pretty much the same timeline. When you first found it, how many years from then until when you opened your affiliate? You said that was COVID?
So I bought the affiliate that we have. So they opened in 2007, and then in 2015, I took over ownership.
Got it. What happened? Like, was that a typical owner didn't want to do it anymore? It was mismanaged, and it was just an easy way for you to kind of step in and I can fix this thing. I care more.
Yeah. So pretty much the whole time, me and my husband were like, we want to buy the gym if you ever want to sell it. We had no idea like what that even entailed. I worked in corporate mortgage banking, and so I was just like, oh, this seems like it would be a fun thing to do. In 2014, the owner had pretty much taken like a turn health-wise, a super young owner, took a turn health wise. And just throughout that year, just kind of we cultivated that relationship. And at the end of the year, was like, hey, we actually just want to give you the business. So, within that, like, here's what it looks like, here's what to do. And, we just kind of took it over from there blindly. And we're like, here we are today.
Was it a
So
Pandora's box shit show when you got it? Like, okay, there's a lot that needs to be fixed here.
there was, and to their just defense or whatever, it was a hobby for them, and so when we took it over, there was no billing methods in place, no policies, no procedures, and so it actually took me a really long time to figure out that we actually needed that because I still worked at the bank for a long time. So not that it was a hobby, but it was just a quick passion. And then it was like, oh, I can make this a business. I can make this a successful business. And so then I started like looking into mentoring and what I needed to do, policies and processes. And so here I am today.
Awesome. Very
So,
cool.
yeah.
So when you say your community recommended you for a district position, like, is that your
Mhm.
members? Like, how does that, I guess I always just figured, Andrew, is who, Andrew Charlesworth connected us. And obviously he's been on seminar staff. And I figured that was just kind of the trajectory for any of these are they getting kind of these like regional manager level roles is, kind of, you've been around for a while, you've done seminar staff, but was that the case for you? Were you doing seminar staff and then transitioned, or was it a little bit different?
No, I was not doing seminar staff. I don't think I'm called out to be that way, seminar staff, but within that, so during COVID 2020 and with everything with like the situation with Glassman, when Dave was in that interim CEO role, he'd kind of put it out there to nominate some people within the community that kind of be boots on the ground, right, and support. And so I had my community nominate me within my members. I had other gym owners in the area nominate me all throughout the region. And when I actually got the call for interview, I had received the most like than anyone, the most nominations. So I was like, oh, that's exciting. But yeah.
So did you like, now, was this like every every gym owner listening to this, every city has like the best of our city, right? Where you can have like
Mm-hmm.
the best gym in Charlotte, North Carolina, and you have your members vote for it and you kind of campaign and get all your, was it like, do you have to campaign for that to get that? Or was it like, no, people just did it. And I just got an email from Castro one day saying, hey, you made it to the next round. I was like, oh shit, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh. I knew it existed. I nominated a couple other people. And then like when I got the email, I was like, oh my God, that like people nominated me. But, you know, I was really big and I really still am about trying to connect affiliates in the area. So like I would always be the one to support other gym events, other gym grand openings, things like that. And actually thinking back to like when my husband and I like announced that we were truly like the owners of our gym, a lot of people in the community were like, were you not already the owners for the last, 9 or 10 years? So, and that's, I was like, oh, it's a good compliment, but I love it.
What's the name of your affiliate?
CrossFit Greer. So
And that's
I'm
in Greer,
South Carolina. So I'm
South Carolina.
right,
Oh,
yep, right
yeah.
outside of Greenville.
Yeah.
So about an hour and a half south of Charlotte. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
No,
yep,
if I thought, I love Greenville. Like, that's, if I had to stay in the Carolinas because my kid is in Charlotte, right? But I wanted to, like, I wanted to get out of Charlotte. It'd be Greenville. I love it's
yes,
just a smaller, very cool city. It's my
yeah,
favorite quick little getaway from
yeah,
Charlotte.
and a
Love
little
it.
bit of everything. So.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Okay, so what the hell does it mean for you to like? What does your title on a day-to-day basis, besides running a small business, the CrossFit Greer? You're the U.S. Affiliate Operations Senior Manager. What does that mean?
Yeah. So in the U.S., we have 6 field reps there regionally. So Northeast, Southeast, Midwest, South Central, Central, and West Coast. And I support those reps. So within that, they each have anywhere from 700 to 1,000 affiliates that they support, receiving inbounds, having hard conversations, having good conversations, directing them to our resources, just anything day to day. And so I support that team. On top of that, I work cross-functionally across the company. So representing for like speaking on behalf of affiliates with the education team. So like, is this something that would benefit affiliates? How can we get this into affiliates type thing? Sport, media marketing, product team, all like they are representing. Here's the feedback from affiliates. This is what I think would work or what we don't think would work from there. So having a representation across all departments.
So six regions, about up to
Mm-hmm.
1,000 affiliates per. So is that how many are in the U.S.? 6,000 affiliates?
There it's a little less than 6,000.
And
Yeah,
then where are
commercial
we
and
at
non-commercial.
worldwide right now? Worldwide.
Around 13,000.
Got it. Okay.
13, 14. Yeah.
So, I had Frank on, and Frank's got ideas. He's got some very ambitious, lofty goals. And I told him at the very end, I said, listen, man, I love anyone with a crazy idea. All right. Anytime when you tell someone this is fucking insane, there's no way this is happening, you're never going to do it. I just kind of naturally pull for that position. Right. Now,
Yeah.
granted, I also think about the reality and the practicality of some things. And I'm a big proponent of the fact that as a former CrossFit affiliate and someone who I found this whole thing in 05, 06, and I true, even though I'm not in that world anymore, and due to the probably a lot of people probably wouldn't believe this or agree with it, I'm still a huge fan of the brand. I truly am, and I always will be. But I thought I didn't agree with a lot of stuff that Frank said. I think you guys are doing more. I think it's a big ship to turn, right?
Yeah.
It's not creating support for 13,000 small business owners. That's not something that gets done in 36 months.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
it's crazy. So can you give like a real tactical example of like great idea from affiliates, but like, do you know how many dominoes have to get the fuck knocked down in order for this thing to happen? Like, what is one of the things that a lot of them want? And when you say it, it doesn't seem like that hard. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But
Yeah.
actually, to make it happen, it's monumental. It's a big deal.
Yeah. So I think they have a lot of high expectations just for like marketing and media. And I wouldn't say that it's like not a hard thing to do, but kind of looking at a lot of people kind of go back to like the old days when we had a full blown like media team. But what was the content coming out then? And what is the content that they're asking for now is a little different. And so thinking back to Frank wants us to log into his Instagram account and post stuff for him, within that. And so I think it's more so of like, what can we provide to educate simple and easy to affiliate owners to get out there, to post and to share? How can we educate them on their own content, and how do we get them to share the content that we do have? Because we do have a ton of resources on YouTube. We have a ton of resources within our media marketing kit in our affiliate toolkit itself. And how can we just continue to educate from that? One hurdle with that is just having the request of 13,000 affiliate owners that want this or want that. And it's, they all essentially want the same bigger picture, but someone specifically wants CrossFit on a park bench. This person wants CrossFit on a billboard. This person wants CrossFit in a Super Bowl commercial. This person wants to see CrossFit in their doctor's office on the magazines. And so it's like, how can we satisfy the request? Because you're going to help one person and you're not going to make the other person happy within that. So just being very, very broad in there.
Do you think for in a license model like this, in which you're simply just paying this very nominal, very low fee to use one of the largest fitness brands out there, that it should come with marketing? Do you think that CrossFit HQ? Okay, yeah, elaborate on that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I signed my license agreement just for the name. And I think about the business, and just the name itself has brought me my clients within that. And so just continuing like to add anything on top of that is just extra icing and sprinkles on the cake, in my opinion.
I agree. I think some people like a license, kids. You could be a real estate. You like if you have a broker's license in a state, you have to have a license. That license allows you to say you're a realtor in that state. It allows you to do certain things. They're
Yep.
not setting up your your website. They're not like, and that's why most realtor, again, I'm just using another license model like realtor. They go to work
Yep.
for Keller Williams or Century 21 or some other firm who has all the marketing stuff in house and does it. They take their license and they go join something, kind of like what a franchise would do. They would go find a company that's going to do all this for them. But they don't go to the North Carolina or South Carolina REC Real Estate Commission Board and say, hey, I paid you this money to get my license and you're not helping me do anything else with it. That's what a license is.
Right.
It's like
Yep.
if someone went to rent a car and you're like, yeah, there's no Chipotle in the back seat. Like, why the fuck would there be? Like, well,
Right. Exactly.
you want me to drive
Yeah.
you want me to drive on this road trip without eating something? That's kind of dumb. I think you should probably supply me some food. Like, it makes
Exactly.
no sense.
Yeah. Yep.
Why do you think it is that Frank and a cohort of other affiliate owners, why do you think they believe that is owed to them? To me, it seemed like it was something to do with, well, if we are supporting the brand should then be turning around and supporting us. Like, I think that at least that's what I kind of heard. What's your
Yeah.
opinion?
Yeah. So, and I like struggle with this often is like the sense of entitlement. And just, I'm like, I don't think I ever once thought that CrossFit owed me anything additional. And so then I start thinking about like the people that we talk to on a day-to-day basis that might be having trouble, like their business is struggling or they can't get coaches or they can't keep coaches. And so digging into those root reasons and people are like, oh, well, it's because CrossFit didn't give me that. And I'm like, actually, I mean, like you're a business owner, you need to own that responsibility. But we have implemented a lot of things that can help you do that. And so lots of times when we hear those arguments, it's that they have not been super successful in their business. And it's, they are not going to own up on that. And so it almost falls into like, oh, I'm just going to blame CrossFit because they didn't, put CrossFit on a park bench for me.
Who I don't hear complaining a lot are the affiliates that have figured out how client acquisition and marketing and things work.
Yeah.
Like every small business, that's a part of having a small business is you have to figure that. There's a lot we have to figure out as small business owners. And I didn't hear a lot of them upset about, again, $4,500 a month, whatever that, or $4,500 a year, this nominal fee per month kind of scenario. I also, at the same time, I guess I remember the days when it was widely known as, Glassman essentially, and I'm paraphrasing, like, I don't know. Like Glassman's gym was not a profitable training gym. He did
Right.
he was the guy that had a drawer and people just drop checks in, right? And shut it. Like he was open, like, I'm not a business guy. I wouldn't know what the hell to tell you to do. I'm just going to talk about the one thing I think I know better than most.
Yep.
So, and again, and then, just like CrossFit was this sun, and you had the Kelly Starretts of the world, and you had the rowing factions and the Chris Coopers and the affiliate use Mia and everyone else who spun off from the sun. We all created our own little ecosystem due to this thing. I just still don't understand where this idea of, hey, I'm a part of this thing. I just understand where the agreement went awry, where people thought I should get more for this thing. And you guys, again, these what do you guys call them? These free meetups that you put on for all the gym owners, all the affiliate owners, where like, I know people will come and talk summits. Yes.
Yep.
Is Frank's voice, is that what you're hearing? Are you hearing a lot of people post the price raise on the affiliation fee? Are most people asking for more, or are most people like, this is a non-issue? It's not even a topic that people are discussing, and Frank and that crew are the very loud minority.
Yeah. I think I wouldn't say they're necessarily asking for more, but a lot of affiliate owners don't know what all there is. And so like after the price change, our team and actually the global team had a lot of conversations. So I would say their calendars were fully booked of just having conversations with affiliate owners of, like, why is it going up? What do I get for my money? again, like outside of just the name on the license, we still wanted to be able to provide other stuff. And so having those conversations, and after those conversations, a lot of them are like, okay, that's cool. Like that is great, or let me figure out how to use this or how to, take advantage of this product. At the summits, the people that are there, they're like super excited to be there. The business content that we provide, the coaching content we provide. So there's a lot of value. And a lot of people have said that like their affiliate dues for the year are worth just showing up for that one day.
I'm trying to think how I want to word this next one. So when it comes to small business owners in general, I don't care if you're some pizza shops, nail salons, CrossFit gyms, whatever the fuck it is. Most of us are highly educated in the craft, like the thing that we do, whether making the widget or providing the service. Generally,
Yep.
most of us are ignorant when it comes to the larger idea of business. Like I never took a business class in my life in college,
Yep.
right? And I knew that. And I remember working in my first affiliate. I was getting paid $600 a month, CrossFit Middle Tennessee. I still thank them forever for letting me come and be a part of that because I instantly knew, oh, I will fuck this up. I was an exercise science major. I felt like I knew everything under the sun coaching wise, and I did compared to what I knew business wise. So I went to go work for a Globo gym company for 2 years. And that was like my business boot camp. Like that was like where I learned the basics. Now, it wasn't a CrossFit gym, but it had all the basics of payroll and budgets and client acquisition and sales and retention and HR and all
Mhm.
these things. As small business owners, we generally jump into this thing, a ton of knowledge on our thing, not a ton of knowledge on the business side. As you guys have been putting together more business content, how are you carefully towing the line between, well, we're a license, best practices, here we go, versus a franchise, like do it like this, use
Yep.
push press. Like, how are you towing that line? Because I always thought it would have been really easy for you guys to like tap Chris Cooper and be like, hey, buddy, we're going to let you, like, you've already got a system for this and affiliates like you, run with it.
Yep.
But that never happened. And I don't know if there's a Greg thing or how leadership thinks about it now, but how do you guys think about business guidance going forward?
Yeah, no, we think if you excel in something, like let's just highlight you. So, most people, like you said, totally, they do CrossFit, they take their level one, they're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. I'm coaching. Oh my God, I'm going to open an affiliate. And then they know nothing about business, nothing about managing people. And so, within that, we've tried to connect with like the top people in those areas and just kind of refer, hey, if we can kind of give you some best practices to take, if that helps you, that's great. If you need additional help, it might be best that you contact this mentor, that you do this. Or if you need, additional help in here, let's just kind of guide you with that. So we also do a lot of regional roundtables where they're topic specific. And so on those, like Katie had the other day, had a payroll consultant on there and just said like, hey, here's some basic payroll things to think about. Here's some taxes. Here's some laws. Like, obviously check your state to be sure, but it was a very good resource that we can kind of connect affiliate owners into something that I don't know that we've ever gotten. And so we've just kind of continued to do that. And we're very clear of like, hey, these are best practices. These are just suggestions. Are you struggling with retention, then maybe here's some ideas for you to kind of take with that. And so just equipping the team with like resources outside of the company, but then basic resources internally that we can kind of steer and guide. And if it helps, and then if not, move on to something else.
How far do you think that you guys would go with that? Like, obviously, you guys created, I think, like an affiliate playbook, which was kind of like an ops manual type scenario.
Yep.
How deep will that go? Will there ever be open office hours where you can get on a call with with Ackerman and ask him question or somebody like that? Will it ever go to that degree, or is it we're gonna do a little but no more than a license model should or than we ever originally agreed to?
Right. So we do have, for new affiliates that are coming in, we have a beta project out there for new affiliates to kind of walk them through a lot of steps. So like you're thinking about buying an affiliate, you're thinking about starting an affiliate, or you just did within a certain year. So we're running through that. So you'll have a session on finance, you'll have a session on like real estate, you'll have a session on, different areas within that. And then kind of go from there. Do you need additional support? And what is that additional support? So we're building that project out now. As far as existing affiliates, our team, the reps, I would say are pretty much like office hours 24/7. So if you need something from there, that would be like that office hour. And then we could connect you then too with like Ackerman or Fern for, something deeper and specific within that scope. Yeah.
And so so going back to that, like the current like the beta program, what is that? Is that
Yep.
like HQ is doing that? Who is actually the person on the other end teaching them about the financing or whatever it may be?
Yeah, so we have internal HQ employees leading that. So Andrew Charlesworth is leading the finance one, and that'll be
Fitting.
like a 90-minute session. On that, we have someone that's a successful business owner, also seminar staff, leading. Zach Forrest is leading something. I forget what exactly he's leading on, but a couple other internal partners that are leading each like division of things. And so it is managing your people, coaches development, just kind of full circle.
Got it.
Yeah.
Will it? Well, let me ask you. This is like kind of going in a little bit different direction. You won't be able to give this a good answer on this till probably a year's cycle. Was there any talk of how many people we think will lose with the price raise? Like, was there like like a gym owner? You raise prices, you kind of have this idea, like maybe 3%, something like that, or maybe zero. What was the predictions? Because nobody does that without playing worst case, best case.
Yeah. Yep. So there was predictions on a global level of like 12 to 14% that we would see fall off during 2024 because of the price change. And then with the level 2 requirements, which would actually be a year within that. But also adding on top of that, so you would not be able to like renew if you didn't have valid credentials. So that is an extra, like we had 1,600 affiliates worldwide that didn't have valid credentials. So within that, meaning like an expired L1 or L2 or whatever. And so that's kind of, we pulled into that bucket there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this is probably something you guys maybe have already had a discussion on. So with other license models, if I want to sell, I just can't sell it, just like a lease. A lease would have to be assumed, and the landlord would have to approve the assumption of the lease, kind of like with a loan.
Yep.
If Sally sells her affiliate to John doesn't just get to be an affiliate owner. Like you guys have to approve that, correct?
Yes. Yep. So
has there ever been, because there's one company tried doing it back in like 2017. It didn't go well, but it's called Gym Exchange. But has there ever been the thought of like, hey, listen, affiliate owners, some of you guys, it might not be the best thing for you to be an affiliate. You might be looking to get out. You let us know that you're looking to sell your affiliate, and we essentially have a record or a marketplace or whatever of all the affiliates looking to sell. Because there's also aspiring entrepreneurs who just took their level 1, but getting brand new real estate in wherever, Cincinnati, Ohio is a pain in the dick. Oh, but if I would have known that there was an exchange where I could go and see what's listed for sale, because CrossFit's got to approve me anyway. So they're going to be a part of this process regardless.
Right.
That way I can at least go there and see that exchange. Is that something that's ever been thrown around, or would that be something that'd be maybe detrimental to the brand? Because I had a Vaughn Vernon on here, who's affiliate guard, aka guard.
Yep.
So he has all the records, because anytime you sell your affiliate, that's one of the guys you got to let know is the insurance handler. So he has the records of the insane amount. If there's at the peak 16,000 affiliates, and then whatever, I forget the number he said, but it was an impressively high number in the US that have exchanged hands.
Yes.
There's a lot of second-hand, third-hand, seventh-hand gyms out there.
Yes, very much.
How have you guys talked about that? Is there an opportunity or a conversation to be had around that process?
Yep, there is. So we have Nick on our team. So he is for business development, and that was one of the things that we've kind of like, he's helping develop that beta program now, but also something on his list to look at as how would we, number one, market that, or how would we inventory that? What would that look like? And so I don't know if that's going to be something that will be in the near future or later this year or first of next year, but is that, and then also a job board type thing for coaches and, affiliate owners looking and or for coaches to kind of post that they were out there.
Do you believe CrossFit is a brand, or is it so big now via the definition of constantly varied functional movements of high intensity that it's a genre? I mean, you look at a barbell next to a Dynamax ball and a rower, and you pull 50 people, you're probably going to land on CrossFit the majority of the time.
Yep.
You look at what Orange Theory is doing, we can argue the functional level or not of the movements, but again, it's essentially constantly varied functional movements of high intensity. And I could name that with every popular franchise in the fitness industry right now. So with that being said, though, when so many people adopt what you do with different variations, that's a genre. It's hard to keep the integrity of a standalone brand in that regard. It's kind of like bodybuilding is not a brand. It's a genre.
Yep.
Right? So it's
yeah.
How is CrossFit a brand or a genre? I guess is what I'm asking.
I feel like it's a brand. I'm going to say it's a brand. Yeah. So that has a genre underneath the umbrella of it. But no, I feel like it's a brand because we have so much more than, I think, just a barbell and, a med ball and a rower.
Yeah.
With that. So especially where we're going with partnering with the more so the CrossFit for Health and just really kind of putting a lot of emphasis on more than just the physical, lifting a barbell, but actually the health benefits, the mental health, the social health, just in general, everything else that comes within that.
I've been asking that. The question I asked you, for years now, I've been asking that. And where I think I'm landing on it now is I think now functional fitness is more the genre now. And then, there's just interpretations of it, with CrossFit being one and, Orange Theory being another version or interpretation of functional fitness. I think that's more or less it. Do you believe that there is some bipolarness of the brand when you have a methodology to solve the world's most vexing problem, but you also have a sport for the fittest in the world, and these two things can be at odds with each other? I understand that the grandmas and Olympic athletes differ by degree, not kind, but at the end of the day, methodology and sport are truly two different things. Do you believe those things are at odds with each other? And if so, what's the solution?
Yeah, so I don't feel like they are at odds with each other. They are definitely at the other end of the spectrum, but I think there's a good place with both for that. So obviously the elite of the elite would be at the other end of the spectrum, but there's also sport within everyday gym and everyday fitness and just, like with grandma lifting things, right? She can still have a little bit of sport. That competitiveness, that adrenaline that kind of gets in that sport is kind of where we sometimes will move that needle and get into that intensity and see improvement. So I feel like they complement each other. Now, I will say a lot of people have said that they don't complement each other and that sport is bad for the brand. But I think it's just all in how, as an individual business owner, we can continue to market both. Especially thinking about how we're marketing so much for the open and how inclusive and everything we are getting within our gyms and our affiliate owners and our members to participate in the open. That's part of the sport, but we drive that community around it so much. And that's what, like, the biggest party of the year for a lot of gyms.
And, I personally think that I personally would want to rename, instead of the CrossFit Games, whatever trademark, either the sport of the fittest or something. To me personally, just like how I would think of it if I own CrossFit. However, when people do bring up, I think it's horrible for CrossFit. I'm like, yeah, guess what? You know how many people show up to the Chicago Marathon and there's only one Kipchoge? Like there's only one, there's an elite element and a very unelite element of that entire thing, right? And there's a bunch in between. Yet they're all runners. They identify under this noun. But again, nobody owns running. It's not a
Yeah.
brand. It's a genre, just like bodybuilding. Whereas CrossFit, though, you're right. It is technically a brand. I mean, a brand is any person, place, or organization or thing in which somebody has a gut feeling about it when they hear it. Some people hear running and they go, "Oh God, fucking running." I see these
Yeah. No.
assholes at like 6 a.m. when it's cold out running. Fuck that. I'd never do that.
No.
And then there's other people that
Yeah.
running is life, right?
Yeah.
It's life.
Yep. Yep.
So with that in mind, I agree with you in that I believe that CrossFit can be the spectrum of it, and the sport has different there's just different skill sets, and some people do it professionally, some people do it on the weekends, and whatever it may be. Where the affiliate owners I think get upset again, I think is a feeling of like they're not in control of 50% of their naming convention, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm CrossFit. And I've always been like, CrossFit shouldn't be who you are. I was CrossFit South End. Now, I leverage CrossFit at when it's crushing on Google SEO, and we were popping off, and I loved every minute of it, and it helped me get to where I am today. And then I use South End, my geographical location, this cool little district in Charlotte, North Carolina. It worked out beautifully. However, I tell a lot of affiliates, CrossFit, it doesn't need to be who you are. It's what you do. It's a methodology you do. You also could offer personal training. You could also offer Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, whatever. It's a thing that you offer, but it doesn't need to be who you are. You still have a responsibility, or you could have a responsibility to form your own brand. But if you are going to run with CrossFit South End and then bitch and complain because you don't think CrossFit's portraying you in a good light, then stop being a lazy fuck and come up with your own brand name and image and just have CrossFit be the methodology. You don't even have to talk about it. Is there anywhere in the affiliate license agreement that says if you are an affiliate, you must use the name and it must be articulated in your website that this is the methodology you use?
So you do have the license agreement does say like your website has to be like CrossFit Greer. So that
So you
has
do
to
have,
be somewhere
was
on
there a
there.
moment in time when you didn't have to have CrossFit in the name?
I'd have to go back and check and see because I'm trying to remember. Like, I know a lot of people are like CrossFit Greer, DBA, whatever fitness kind of spectrum from that. But
Yeah.
in the license, it does say like on your website somewhere for us to approve it, you do have to have like
I think the
CrossFit.
journal link.
The license. So that journal link used to have to be a requirement on there from that, but now you do somewhere on your website have to mark that you are CrossFit so and so. And then there's no, obviously a lot of people have updated their website, changed their website. And so there's not a lot of auditing until like we come in and like update things or maybe like with a map, giving affiliate owners to update the affiliate map so we can get more leads and things like that. And if people are reaching out to change their website link or to add it, that's one of the things that we're testing is like it does need to somewhere say in there that's CrossFit for there, but it could essentially still be like something in other fitness that had CrossFit so and so on there.
Got it. So you couldn't, like if you fell in love with and don't do this would be a horrible idea. If you want to be the Greer Go-Getters, GreerGoGetters.com. Okay. That's what we are.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We go get it. We just happen to get it with constantly varied functional moves of high intensity. We are a CrossFit affiliate. We have a badge in the footer of the website, but are you allowed to run with a naming convention that doesn't use the name? If you have some kind of badging element or some kind of, presence, like a USAW facility has a banner up in the corner, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't
Yeah.
have a naming convention that says USAW weightlifting.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you can have that like, and I have to double check to make sure if it hasn't changed, but you can have like the mark of that other fitness, something another, and also CrossFit Greer on there.
Yeah. And for a lot of people listening, so I was a CrossFit affiliate when I changed my unique belief in fitness. And and again, it's not that I didn't believe in constantly varied functional moves, high intensity. It was how I had been providing it as a CrossFit gym for years. There were certain things and movements I put more emphasis on than I should have. And I created a clientele that was fiending for that. Having 28-year-old employees of Bank of America crying on a Friday because some chick in Omaha, Nebraska beat her in the open. And I'm like, lady, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this doesn't matter. What did I do? It is my fault. I created a monster. So I rebranded to Urban Movement, but I kept paying for my affiliate fee almost because like, I always talk about there's a couple people, if I bumped into them in real life, I'd cry like a baby. And I think Glassman, it'd be one of them. Like I owe where I'm at today because I listened to that guy's, I listened to him almost like they were podcasts back in the day when I'd drive to Nashville for my internships with the NSCA, and I'd listen to all his talks, and it really did. And it's really inspired me to go to where I am today. But when I think of everything like that, and I became the Urban Movement, I still paid that affiliate fee, and I still was hosting level 1s or level 2s and for a couple of years, and without any naming convention. And all I did is I had CrossFitSouthend.com, and if you put that in and you searched it, you clicked it, it took you to Urban Movement, right? Like there was like, so I still had you landed on it, boom, you put in CrossFitSouthend.com and it redirected you. And I don't think anybody had an issue with that. Maybe back then there wasn't a lot of oversight on it. I'm not sure what the rules are now, but I just know that's.
Oh, sorry, not to cut you off. I was going to say there's definitely a lot more to it. So if a gym does, depart from there, and you type in their website and it reroutes to someone, so that is still IP, and so we can request a cease and desist. As far as like seminars, before we reach out to an affiliate to host, they have to be flying the flag. So like their building has to be CrossFit, their website has to be CrossFit, and just it has to be prevalent. It can't just be Go Getter Fitness from that.
Sure. So, it makes sense. And it does. And also at the same time, it's like, not that it's a lot of money, but it's like if you're, again, this is where the world of like CrossFit now, it would be combative of what I said of like, well, CrossFit now has to be who you are, not only what you do type scenario.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be a license, it's technically, like Calvin Klein's a license. People don't pay the money for the Calvin Klein license to not put Calvin Klein on the ass cheeks of underwear, right? Like that's part of it. It's such a funny place. And again, it's like this conversation isn't get had on at no other level. Zumba, Jazzercise. Any of the other, Board 30, OPEX, the other license models. We're not having this conversation, and it's because when you're the biggest, largest license model in the history of fitness, in a brick and mortar setting, at least. How have things changed for you guys since COVID on the front of, obviously, like what I thought would be like your revenue pillars? Education, so certs, affiliations, as far as that goes. The games was a loss leader, right? That didn't make any money. Is my understanding, but like those are your big ones.
Yes.
How is it? How is education now? Is there? For years I hosted certs and I enjoyed it thoroughly. Are those still happening in person at the same clip? I remember back at the old CrossFit, you remember this, back at the CrossFit.com, there'd be the little collage photo of all the certs that happened over the weekend. And you're like, holy fuck, that's 60 people times 15 images in that collage.
A ton of it, yeah.
What does that look like now? Is it online? Is it still in person?
Yeah, so there are the online level 1. There's an in-person level 1, level 2. CrossFit Kids has now gone to online. And I would say that like the capacities are smaller, so it's far and few to find a 60-person level 1 like there were back in the day. And that I think definitely is a lot played into COVID with that. I have seen seminars increase so far this year. So seminar registrations increased, and we're trying to expand into other markets as well. So instead of consistently going to the same gym every time, like can we go 30 minutes down the road, an hour down the road, and reach a different crowd? With some people still drive, and just kind of testing that out in different markets. With that to, not necessarily get more education for level 1s and level 2s, but also to bring CrossFit to that market. Maybe there's an affiliate owner that's close by, or someone that's like, I'd love to open up a gym here. And then we're just like, oh, here's a level 1 right near you, type thing.
In your role in this U.S. position, this like national kind of position as far as that goes, is the org chart fit? Like, how is that org chart going to develop? Like, is there obviously like, it's, there's you, and then there's all these, you support these 6 regional reps kind of
Yep.
scenario. Do you guys have plans to expand this affiliate support type org chart?
At this time, I don't see any need to expand that. Our actually customer support team that themselves have brought in new leader in that role back in the fall, and she's amazing. So she's been around CrossFit forever. Leah Pulaski, and so she has come in and set policies and processes in place so that that support team can be very efficient in supporting. And so between that, we're kind of trying to find a line to where like we can actually go out, support our affiliates, connect with them, do what we need to do, and then they can handle the support aspect of any admin, things with that. If our team does grow, I would say I can see our team adding in some support people underneath them. So support as far as social media, stuff, handling some regional roundtables, doing connections with partners, and just helping on events and things like that. But as of right now, our team is pretty comfy. So
Somebody posted a screenshot up in one of these Facebook groups that they still let me be a part of for some reason. About there's new language in the affiliate, the re-signing agreement that talks about affiliate fees can be increased annually up to a certain percent or something to that degree. Now,
yeah,
to me, I'm like, well, duh, I personally recommend that to most clients I work with that own gyms that put some kind of an annual 3% increase in this thing, like especially with, I think just to even keep in line with a basic commercial lease that goes up by 3% annually, or you triple net kind of scenario. But
yep.
do you foresee what I think other people are predictive of is like, okay, CrossFit's going to do more. The price has to go up at some point. Like, did you guys shed the 10, 12, 15, whatever that number was you thought you would shed globally on the first one? And is it, and I know no one's going to admit, like, or say this, but like, is there any thought that less doing better would be better?
Right.
Less affiliates
Yes.
that are doing better would actually be better?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, and with all respect, right? So like we all have those members that we like to fire. And so sometimes those affiliate owners that, are just, they're not doing really good in business wise, and they're just not helping bring up the brand in general. And so, in regards to that, there's always going to be your bottom 10, that you can, I don't want to disrespectfully say that, right? Because we want everyone to do this. But if owning an affiliate is for you or not for you, like that's a business decision that you need to make. And if the relationship and the partnership doesn't work out, then, it doesn't work out. So.
With the license agreement, the thing is, while you can't tell them how to run the business, you can, in a license agreement, set certain standards that if not met, we just don't renew your license the next year. We don't take it away from you or anything like that necessarily. I mean, there's certain things you could obviously take it away for, but would there ever be a level of checks and balances installed where, I mean, I know there's currently, like, you have to obviously do the things we were talking about earlier at the website and the naming convention. But I mean, my God, I mean, the amount of national support, even global support you need to have like quality control people and anyone like that, like it's absolutely insane to think of the scope of that. But like, is there a future in which, I don't know, more affiliates, like it's you actually have to be on your P's and Q's because, dude, if they find out you're fucking off or you're doing these things, they will just not renew your license the next year.
Right. Yeah. I think right now the only talk of what makes sense is like requiring every affiliate owner to be a level 2 within a year after your 2024 renewal. So thinking about within that, the education that you get at the level 2, even if you're not coaching or not, even if you aren't coaching your affiliate, you can still need to know what your coaches are doing and how to hold them to those expectations. So we feel that having owners be at least a level 2 will help project some kind of like quality within their affiliate. We know it's not going to capture everything, but I think still, like you said, balancing that line between like being a franchise and, and not being a franchise, what we can and can't do as a licensed model. And so I think we really like the model of affiliate owners having the autonomy to do whatever they do, but know that like rising ships will rise everything. And, we don't want you to be that affiliate owner that's pulling us down.
I started really, I always wanted the sport of CrossFit to get very, very much more professionalized because I thought that would help affiliate owners, especially like in the situation I was referring to that I was dealing with. My members now would not, be like, you have a 9 to 5 job. There's no way. There's an 18-year-old who would crush you in any one of these open workouts. There's no chance. And I'm not here to deflate anyone's dreams, but like I can cross dribble and I've got a decent hook shot, but I'm not going to play in the NBA, right? That kind of like the more professional, legit the sport gets, the more the people realize, okay, I'm not making it. I remember when there was the sectionals and the regional, like the early days of the regionals, when like you could be a fringe bubble open athlete and fucking make it and go, anyone's like, I went to the games. I'm like, pre-2016, 2017 or afterwards? Like, dude, don't. But with that being said, and the real thing I noticed is like when you started seeing like the Barstool versions, like what Barstool is to the NFL, NBA, PGA, that's like the Savans and the Hiller Fits. And like you have like the fun, like the entertaining commentary with their own opinions. And I'm all for that and the content and all that. But there seems to be a lot more of it now that has an opinion on this thing. And that's when I was like, oh, CrossFit's up actually on the up and up because there wasn't as much of this previously. But that's kind of like the full circle of a brand that's actually relevant. You got to have a strong camp of people who make their living or their whatever they do commenting on your shit. That was a big part that I thought was missing. How do you guys think of the new content, these hubs and these whatever channels, whatever you want to think of them, that throw shade or maybe have thoughts and stuff like that? I know obviously, probably most people, the answer is going to be like, yeah, they can have their own opinions. But like, I personally think it's great for the brand.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think every brand needs that, the good and the bad and the feedback. And it also is, is this a sentiment? Is this something that's really like take back and to think about? Like, is this something we need to make changes or need to do? Or is it just like, oh, that's cool. Like we have 5 more followers because, of this person posting that and saying that. And then also having a thick skin, right? So you can't be offended if someone says anything or makes fun or something like that. It's going to happen with any and everything. Just, watch the comments after a basketball game or after the Super Bowl. And people are like, oh, the 49ers, like lost and the, Chiefs like cheated and, all this stuff. So there's always going to be negative like around it, but I think it's needed out there. So the good and the bad.
The Instagram handle, the CrossFit book. Is that like like Greg's got a book that'll get published, but it couldn't be called the CrossFit book. That definitely would be lawsuit ready, right?
And I would think so, unless there's like something in that sale agreement that allows him to say that. So, yeah.
When Greg tapped out and sold, were you did you de-affiliate? Did you do anything with the comments and Twitter and stuff like that? Where was your stance on all that?
Yeah, I was more like, oh my gosh, what does this mean? Like, does this mean that like CrossFit's just gonna gone? Because I really did identify with like I'm CrossFit and like my gym is CrossFit and we are CrossFit and was like super passionate about it. So I was really concerned about like, oh my gosh, does this mean the brand's gonna just go away? Like, what does this mean for my business? What does this mean for my people? But I stayed with it. So I stayed true. I was like, you know what, like. Everyone makes a comment, like it happens every single day with, politics and, whatever. And I think we'll be okay and just kind of wrote it out and adjust to my community that like, hey, if it doesn't matter, like what someone else says, like this is our community and this is what happens in here. And this is still like my business and we're still going to run it the same way. And, so everyone was respectful and a lot of people are like, who's at that point, like, who's Greg? Like 4 people knew like who he was. And I think that's where like a lot of people are still is like, who's Greg? And, some people are like, who's Dave Castro, kind of thing.
And you're also in Greer, South Carolina, so they're like, actually, I've also got additional. I wish you would have said something else. Yeah, we. It was
In the
very much,
deep
yeah,
south.
deep South. Yeah, if you would have been in
Yeah.
Seattle or Portland, it would have been a different story, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Um, they're like, your green hair doesn't fool us, Jen. We know you're not as
Right.
progressive as we are. Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
what
Yeah.
I'm the one thing I've always been really interested in with the growth of CrossFit on there is, and you guys might, I know you just announced a group of affiliate owners. I saw Jason Kalipa being one of them, and there's a handful of others. Is there a part like where you guys at some point you have to gather the top performing businesses in CrossFit, like truly P&L statements, not like their community loves them, but legit stuff, and start figuring, okay, let's grab the top 4% of affiliate owners based on numbers. And
Yep.
then, that's got to be by submittal, because you guys can't require them to submit these. It'd have to be volunteer or whatever it may be. And
Right.
then start creating an avatar. Like, again, that's the thing I think that looks more like eventually a franchise model, is when you start figuring out what does the ideal square, aka box, and the
Yep.
financial model of this look like based on all this. Well, you guys have done great videos with like CrossFit Roots and Ben Bergeron, and like little round table discussions, or people talk about best practices. And best practices are nice because they play on the side of the license and they don't get you guys in any trouble. But at some point
Yes.
too, I mean, like, there's no way that the C-suite at CrossFit isn't genuinely curious as to
Oh yeah.
what the P&L looks like at the top 5% of CrossFit affiliates.
Yeah. So we did last year. We did a reach out in 2 regions just to get any affiliate owners that wanted to volunteer that information, and so they sent like their monthly revenue, their rent, like just breakdown of everything, how much they paid their coaches, how much they paid themselves. And so we kind of took some, again, best practices from those affiliates, and we still have that information. It's just a matter of like, within that small data set, like how to get it out there. And unfortunately, a lot of response from affiliate owners are, yeah, but I'm not there, or I'm not there. And so like they can't see they can't see where they can go. They're just clouded by like what is up there. And so it's just like they don't want to take the first step. And I'm like, you got to take the first step if you want to even get to here. But they're so blinded by that. But yeah, so we did reach out to some, and that's kind of, I don't want to say like that's where our affiliate council came from, but we, through that research, had found that some successful business owners and affiliate owners who started from the bottom, pretty much from that, and have a big say in the community, and can speak on behalf of affiliates as well, but as an outsider to CrossFit, and just like, here's what people are saying, and we can kind of run things in front of them. So I'm super excited about that affiliate council that we have. So we have some US people on there, and then we have some international as well.
Some people might not think I'd say this, but like in defense of like, in my circle of, people I talk with in this world of like dealing with franchises and small business owners, stuff like that, CrossFit gyms kind of have this stereotype of like this really shitty ran mom and pop small business, these fucking creatures with their roll up bay doors and no business acumen and this whole, yet, and I think a lot of, there's that, and I think there's this, taboo, but then there's also like some gym owners, like you said, like, I'm not there yet. And they're like, I haven't made it. And I think we have to reframe what making it is. Like, we all do realize over 50% of any small business doesn't make it. Now,
Right.
in the fitness industry, what we found, I think at least what I found in this micro gym, mom and pop, small group fitness thing, everyone is guaranteed about 3 years. I don't know many people that failed in under 3 years.
Yep.
Most people are guaranteed 5. You really got, if you're not doing well, you can stretch it to 7, but your spouse is going to hate you when you HELOC your fucking house. But like 10 is now the current thing. But everyone's like, yeah, so these gyms are barely making it 10 years. I'm like, yeah, but it's also such a young movement in and of
Yeah.
itself. Like getting to a decade, again, if 50% of us are going to fail by a small business standard, yeah, most of us won't make it 10 years then. That's
Right.
just basic numbers. I almost wish the numbers of the businesses in CrossFit could be aggregated and shared, so some owners realize, oh, I'm actually average. Like, you guys are great at sharing how fast people can do thruster races at the Open every year on a leaderboard. I'd love for some of these business owners to just be like, oh, I'm doing $29,000 a month on a 23% profit margin. I've been, going to bed at night thinking I'm a loser. In my region, I'm actually top 30%. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that would be really beneficial to a lot of owners. And then on my other side of the fence where I also live, I think it would also change the stereotype that a lot of outside of the small business, like guys who, like my colleagues that only work at health clubs and franchise and things like that, and everyone just kind of shits on the small business mom.
I do think I just lost your volume.
You can't hear me?
I can.
God damn. I knew, like, I was like, man, this thing was way easier than I thought it was going to be. Great. Okay. Anyway, where the fuck was I? Oh yeah. Anyway, so just like, yeah, sharing these numbers with, is there any opportunity there, to let gym owners know what good actually is? Because I think they're like, unless I make $1 million a year, like, this is insane. Like I'm a failure. But then also too, like, if the numbers suck, that's okay. If the numbers are great, it attracts people to maybe thinking of opening up one of these businesses. But if it's all just ambiguous and we're like, I just drive by shitty warehouses, so they probably all suck. I know a lot of shitty warehouses that are making $500,000 to $1 million a year.
Yep.
So what are the thoughts there?
Yeah, so I think having affiliate owners, oh, there's an echo, sorry. Having affiliate owners share that information and to volunteer to share that information is probably like one of the hardest things to do, because affiliate owners are like, why do you want my information? Why do we want to be autonomous to run our own thing. And so having the affiliate owners share that would be amazing and a good venture into what it would look like regionally.
Got it. Well, okay. Well, and before the rest of this tech fucking just shits the bed on me, Jen, I've enjoyed talking with you. This is great. Hopefully now I have you and 2 people in CrossFit, you and Andrew, who do not dislike me. So, but thank you so much. I know you're slammed and busy, taking time on a Friday. It means a ton to me. If anyone was listening and they would like to get in touch with you, they got a question, maybe they're an affiliate owner, maybe they're not. What's the best way someone could reach out to you?
Yeah, so they can Instagram me. It is green_Jen, or email. It's jen.green@crossfit.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Jen Green, you are a real one. I appreciate you. If I'm ever in the Greer area of South Carolina, I will definitely hit you up.
Awesome. Thank you so much.